cha, boom, boom, cha, boom, cha, boom, boom. Now listen up, all you big cat lovers, with your snacks in your face and your feet under the covers. It's time to hear a story, so sit your butt down, because Derek's gonna walk you all around the compound. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Oh boy. This is stare down. This is stare down. Alright. Hey, Junie. Hi, Junie girl. So we got little miss. We got little miss in here. Just for now. It got cold. It got cold for a lot of people in a lot of different places across these great United States. It was no different here. It wasn't quite 2021 big freeze levels of like cold and duration, but it was not too dissimilar. So we had to move Juno and the minis over here and move them around Louie. Well, Louie's thing is over here. If you didn't know, we have another. Well, we have another little one, kind of, like Juno. His name is Louie, and he is at least half Margay. We do know that. We're actually doing further testing. That's where he's at right now. He's getting blood drawn, so we can do some further testing to kind of figure out exactly a little bit more of his origin. We're also very curious as to whether or not Louie and Juno possibly, if they are related, because it just is kind of a weird coincidence that, we get one Margay, and then there's another one. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where we're at. If you want to see Louie and you haven't seen him yet, I mean, it's either going to be on my Patreon. I was posting stuff about him, or just on Cares stuff. So that's what's that about. But Heidi got everything cleaned up in here and whatnot. And what's been happening is like, okay, so then when it finally, there's that coos. So once it started getting warmer, which it has been, even though it's all rainy and gross outside right now, moved the three minis, the leopard cats, back out to the main enclosure over there. And since Louie was here, just kind of living by himself, we actually decided to see if Juno could come and, they could get to know each other through the fence. You have to understand they're both intact. Even though Louie is a baby, I think he's probably about like 8 months, so shouldn't be sexually mature. But, But since he's actually going to get blood drawn right now, Heidi opened up and just let Juno kind of run around and do her thing. A whole to-do. But the funny thing is that we actually had Juno and the 4 leopard cats. They were over in the gift shop. They had to stay there because we were losing power here. It was getting so cold. Look at her. And Heidi had to do a whole bunch of stuff, and then she had to clear out the gift shop and then put the minis plus Juno in there. So then we moved, when things warmed up, he's a little turd. We moved the leopard cats. Did I say leopard cubs? But we moved the leopard cats back out to the main enclosure, and then Juno wouldn't get into a transport kit. She's like, I don't trust any of you guys. So what we ended up doing was like clearing a pathway and then like leading her with toys through the house into here where Louie was locked up, and then Juno. So then it was like a whole just like, what? Who are you? kind of thing. And we've just been leaving them in here with the doors shut, the last like the last day and a half, 2 days, something like that. So yeah, it's been a to-do. It's been a to-do, Aku. Hey, Bobbles. Hey, Bobbles. Oh my gosh, you're wet. You're wet. You're wet, puppy. Were you outside doing stuff? And he's like, yeah, how else would I have gotten? I don't know. Went to the sink. Rolled around in the sink for a little bit. You're kind of big for that. You're kind of big for sink shenanigans. So I'm guessing that the doggy door and then the water falling from the sky had something more to do with it. I'm sorry, Bobs, but I'm not going to be able to take you with me. I gotta go inside and film because I haven't done it for a bit. Hold on, alright. I have to block and then do this. You need to stay here. It's okay. I'll be back. I'll be back. I'll be back. I promise. I promise. He always gets FOMO. He gets intense FOMO, that fear of missing out thing. He always wants to go, he always thinks anytime, yeah, he's still. Oh man. The rain is making the pinchies difficult. But he always likes to go WORK. That's his favorite thing in the entire world, is to go and do WORK. Alright. Hello all you big cat lovers out there. It's me, Derek, again, and welcome to another super duper fantastic episode of the Walk Around the Compound webcast. Honk honk. I know, when will he get rid of those Christmas whiskers? This is wild and intriguing. Probably gonna have to start thinking of them as more way forward whiskers for varied reasons. Hey, hi Noe. Hi beautiful. I'm beautiful. Oh no. Oh my gosh, I know. We're like multiple minutes. We're just shy of 8 minutes into the cast, and you're the first cat, big cat, that we're seeing. My goodness. Derek, you go away for a couple of weeks and you just... your film style just gets all wonky. It gets all wonkered. Hi, Rasa. Oh my gosh. How you doing? It's nice. It's certainly nicer and warmer and drier in here than it is out there. And then we've got this. Oh my gosh, we've got... everyone is here. Everyone is here. Nice. Nice. Good boy. Yeah, he's a good boy. Missed you. Been away for a little bit. Hey, baby. No, my baby. Yeah, I know. I know. I know. I love you. Very, 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 very much. Very, very, very much. Very, yeah, very, very, very much. Very much. I was recently back up in Wisconsin. I drove up there. I was watching over my parents' place. They got a farm, and it's a farm that my mom grew up on, and then they eventually were able to be the ones to take over the property. And my dad was having a heart surgery, which went well. Went good. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Hey, you. But during that time, I went up to go and keep an eye on the farm while he was recovering and my mom was taking care of him, which helped to, put them at a greater sense of ease. Good boy. He's a good boy. What a good boy you are. Because like many things, there's always going to be different kind of like wrenches that get thrown into like a recovery timeline, or there's unforeseen like, like here's the milestones that we think we're going to hit, but then like the reality it gets it's like a little bit more staggered or staccatoed or however you want to think of it. I was thinking that I was only going to be up there for a week, and it ended up being closer to 2 weeks. And it ended up being, I drove up there as the snowstorm that blanketed, about 40% of the United States. I was driving up there as that was blowing through, as that winter stuff was going through. So that was a whole thing. And that was not the most enjoyable experience because, there's things that Heidi had to endure, that the folks down here had to endure, taking care of cats, taking care of older kitties, at-risk kitties, keeping them happy and safe and comfortable, warm. Because, down here, it was getting down into single digits with like below zero wind chills for multiple days, multiple nights. We were losing power. And again, it was, like I said, it was not dissimilar from the big freeze. It was rough. And then I was up home on the farm, basically snowed in, watching over their animals, and just using like an ancient skid steer to try to clear some of the areas that the snowplows couldn't get to. So, yeah. But I got to have some cheese and some venison jerky and some leftover fruitcake that my mom made. So it wasn't all bad. But it was a weird time because, yeah. I. But all's well that ends well. Like I said, surgery went well, recovery went well. They were very appreciative because it was one less thing to worry about and one less thing to stress about during, that kind of recovery time. I got to see like a little bit of family. Got to see my brother a little bit. But most of my stay there was, because again, it was taking care of the farm while I was like snowed in, and then getting updates from Heidi, dealing with all the stuff that was happening down here simultaneously. So that does account for a little bit why you haven't heard from me in a while. I'm also in the middle of a important transition phase in my professional life. Not just my professional life, but I guess my life, because so much of my professional life has an impact, has an effect on my life. Hey, big guy. Hi. Oh, goodness. Gracious. But yeah, I guess what is it? My the length of my whiskers is going to be like inversely proportional to the amount of time that I am, like removed from the professional transition that I was alluding to earlier. I had a very major career change recently. I had a very significant milestone. And the job I had before had had very specific, just grooming standards. And I wasn't able to have a whole lot of facial hair. Like cheesy mustaches were okay, but even they had to be within certain parameters, within certain standards. So yeah. Now I don't gotta worry about that so much. Like ever. Right? She's a pretty girl. But yeah, huge shout out and huge props to Heidi, Jessica, Dakota for I mean, really working their keisters off to keep all the cats happy and healthy, happy and warm when it got nasty. And we did get generators in response to the last the big freeze, and how we ended up losing power for like 5 days. Just that whole absolute mess, that absolute nonsense. So we ended up getting a bunch of different generators, but even those, and they're pretty solid. They're very, very good. But even those were struggling to keep up with some of the needs that we wanted to have. Now, we were able to keep them on, and we were able to keep certain systems running and certain heating and life support systems running, but we realized like, oh, we need to actually beef it up even more in the coming years. Luckily, we only went without power. I think it was like 12 or 16 hours, something like that. Still, it was during the coldest part of the whole deal out here. It was overnight. Like, power went out, I think, at like 9 o'clock at night, and it didn't come back up until later on that morning. The next morning, after, like a little bit before noon, something. And it was windy and it was cold. That's when, Heidi had to move Godzilla into the house. Some of you probably saw that on Instagram. Heidi had to move Godzilla into the house so that he could be next to the fireplace, so that he could not die. It was a whole to-do. And then that was when, some of the generators, like, they were going, but then they would start tripping because then they were getting overloaded. And meanwhile, I was up in Wisconsin, just going like crap. But of course, Heidi's tough and she's resourceful and she's been doing this for many years. And she was basically just like, look, and it's like we both could like completely understand the circumstances. Like, if there was any other, like this, the circumstances that had you go to Wisconsin, basically the only ones that either of us would have been kind of like okay with. I mean, had a major life affecting surgery from close family. So yeah. And then it's one of those, like, it is what it is. There's no changing it. So we just have to just kind of move on, because we both have our respective issues that we have to contend with. We both have our things that we have to deal with. I was back up in Wisconsin, like anytime I went outside, having to like put on like a borderline spacesuit, because it was cold down here. Oh, it got cold up there. It got really cold. I sent a video. I was sending videos to Heidi. I took a video and I put it in like my coveralls pocket when my phone was actually still working, even though it was like getting like super cold. Of me going to like check and feed on the horses when it was night, and it was like minus 24. It was minus 24 wind chill kind of thing going on. It got kind of bananas, and I had to keep on digging out like footpaths. That whole experience is like, oh, that's right. That's one of the, I remember. Yeah, it's nice being home, but I'm also being reminded of like why winters up north suck. They suck so bad. Oh, but I will say, and I've said this and I've reaffirmed this, is that a lot of times, even when it gets like super, super cold up there, it's like a weird dry cold. And it's almost like easier to protect yourself against. It's easier to bundle up against a dry cold. But when it's like this, when it's all like just kind of wet, luckily it's not too rainy. When it's like this and maybe like 10, 15 degrees colder, like this, like when it's all rainy and hovering around freezing, that sucks down here. Either way, I'm rambling. I got other stuff I gotta do. But thanks for sticking with me. If you're still here. Alright. Thanks for watching this episode of the Walk Around the Compound webcast. Hashtag Dorbus the Warden in the comment section below. Like and subscribe for all of your big cat goodness. And if you want to learn more about the facility around me, you can always visit the website carerescuetexas.com for more information. You keep those tigers fed. Big shout out to the extra fancy patrons. I see you. You are so fancy, and thank you so much for your continued support. We'll see you next time. That really is like a muscle. That's a muscle reflexive kind of thing. Where it's like, if you ask me to like say that the sign off, but like start from the middle, I might not be able to do it. Or if you like, write it down, like I wouldn't be able to do it. But like being in the moment, holding my phone, and then like once you start the first like word, it's like my body just knows to do the rest of it. It's weird. That's why I don't know if you noticed that, but I was just like, yeah, thanks for sticking around. And I'm just like, I gotta reset, and then I did the, and then it almost like it quick etch-a-sketched it, and then it's like, all right, and go. All right, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.
Monkey's buttered toast. Munchie saw a ghost.